Audio Jungle.
What's that? I don't know. Go check it out. I'll be right back.
Who are you?
Hi, for only 3 easy payments of $17.29, you can join the colony of North Carolina today. Here are some clips showing the history and geography of North Carolina.
As you can see from the intro, our beautiful colony is North Carolina. Now, I'm going to begin this by talking about our awesome geography. We have a little bit of all three. We've got some mountainous regions, we've got the middle part, which is pretty much the foothills, and then we've got the coastline being really warm, mountainous region being slightly colder but also higher elevation and drier. Next is the history. It all started around 1600 when we started coming down from Virginia. We kept settling, we pretty much settled kind of like a spider web type thing, maybe like an upside down umbrella. Around 1710 though, we did have a capital in Edenton. Around there, at that time, there was still a lot of Native Americans occupying the land, and they started having some growing alarm because of all the settlers coming in there. So one thing led to another, and basically raging conflict came out. Inevitably, we of course triumphed, and even though it wasn't such a good idea, we also conquered a lot of land. Now, the whole conflict thing was off and on right around until the king actually took over a lot of land. The Native Americans were decimated, which was a sad thing, but another really good thing about this is the king had land, and therefore he funded a lot of travelers to come over there and actually further settle. So afterwards you've got people like Highland Scots coming. We also went ahead and moved all the way across to the mountainous region, cutting down forests and stuff, and also planting. Now, that all happened all the way up until, and there was a lot of blossoming.
So, I saw the history and geography. Why do I care? Like, tell me why. Give me a reason. Such as religion.
Because the religions here, the main two religions are the Puritans and the Quakers. You might fit into the Puritans. They believe in predestination and you're either sent to heaven or hell. And anyone else who is not them is not pure.
Okay. What about these Quakers?
The Quakers, they believe in being nice to everyone. They're also known as the Society of Friends for that. Because if you could be nice to everyone, then you could be a living saint. And if you were a living saint, you would get to go to heaven.
But I actually happen to be an economy guy myself, so I actually happen to know a little bit about this stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but North Carolina actually exported things like tobacco, cotton, corn, vegetables, and livestock. I also heard that you guys had a lot of plantations, especially since you were in the South, which means that you had slaves and there was a lot of slavery going on, right?
Yes.
Just watched our commercial, and now you know probably why North Carolina is the best colony to settle in. But just in case you, unlike our customer, did not quite catch it all, we're going to do a quick recap. We're going to start with history because it's the best. Teacher. Anyway, we're going to start with history, and then we're going to move on to geography. So, the history. Briefly, we came from Virginia, we saw, we conquered, we settled, and we made money. Geography. You've got the flatlands right next to our coast. It's a terrible coast, by the way, but it's a coast. We also made a lot of money, did I mention? Next, we have the Piedmont, or the foothills. That's perfect prime real estate for living and also for plantations. And then we have the backcountry, or the mountains. For all you snowboarders out there, it's prime time. It also gets a lot cooler. North Carolina's the greatest.
And our religions here were the Quakers and the Puritans, if you didn't catch that. The Puritans just didn't really like other people, and they thought they were either going to hell or heaven. Didn't matter what they did. Whereas the Quakers believed they had a choice in the matter and they could
Quakers
do what they
are the
wanted.
best.
さてと、エコノミーに関してはいろいろとやった。タバコとかコトンとかいろいろ売って楽しくして、いろいろってお金す。お前アホか。どけ。お前は ちゃうやろ。こら、おい、こら、何してんねん。Now as for culture, wherever you went, everyone followed their traditions and beliefs. You could go to one town, they'd have certain traditions and beliefs, and you could go to the next, and they might have completely different, they might be exactly the same. But North Carolina is the best. You should always come move here. Hey, if it's even visiting us, come on down.